Live from the backstretch at historic Saratoga Race Course, this is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow. Racing Across America is brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. When you can't make it to the track, make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.
Good morning and welcome to Racing Across America on this Thursday morning. As we said during the handicapping show, gorgeous morning out here. It's going to turn into a beautiful afternoon. If you're headed up, it's a great day for the races as we are now into the final week of the meet. Should be fun, always bittersweet, but looking forward to some good racing over the next few days. And looking forward to a nice show this morning on Racing Across America coming up a little bit later on. They're in the green room. It's Ray and Jay, Ray Howell, Jay Connelly from the Low Rollers. They also do a little handicapping over on the front side for NYRA. We'll talk about all of that and more. Kevin Cox will also join us for some handicapping this morning and other thoughts. And Shonda Rotondo and Pete Fornatale. The Horse Racing Women's Association Conference comes up in October in Lexington. They'll give us a little info on that also. But first up, happy to be joined by Amelia Green, who had for first season up at Saratoga, had to be a fabulous day with a couple of wins yesterday, including a stake and a nice stake placing a little bit later on. Amelia, good morning.
Morning. Thank you for having me.
Was there a little bit of celebration last night?
A little bit. Everyone that knows me knows I'm not really one to celebrate. I like to be in bed early and up early, back at it the next day. But we had a glass of champagne at the end of the day, so that was nice.
I don't blame you. That had to be a lot of fun, certainly. And let's just jump in and talk about the win in the funny side. Early in the day, it was race number 2. We'll look at minor convenience in here, the number 5 horse, Get It Done. And from doing a little research last night and seeing some of the interviews, not only did you train, first stakes victory at Saratoga, you're a part owner, and you helped pick out the horse. This had to be a fabulous, fun victory for you yesterday.
It was, yeah. It was very exciting. Like I said, we picked him out ourselves. We paid $20,000 for him as a yearling, and to now be a stakes winner, as well as a maiden winner in Saratoga, is very special.
As you say, maiden winner. So he was your first Saratoga winner?
My very first Saratoga winner, and now my very first Saratoga stakes winner.
And again, having picked the horse out and being a part owner, this is and a New York bred that you paid $20,000 for. It was at Assoc tipped in October last year. Talk a little bit about picking the horse out of the sale.
We went into the sale, and I obviously hadn't even set up training yet, so I didn't really have a whole lot of clientele buying yearlings because I wasn't even training yet. Yeah. So it's hard for someone to give you money when you're not even set up as a business. So I was lucky. I had a couple of owners buy at September sale, but by the time the October sale came around, they were done buying. So me and Amanda went, we looked around and we found him, and we loved him too much to not get him. So whether it was financially responsible at the time for 2 young people, one who's about to set up her own business and another one who just finished school to buy a horse, in hindsight probably wasn't at the time. But now we can look back and obviously laugh about it. And it turned out to be a good investment now.
Excellent. Very good. And again, a little stakes victory yesterday. And I'm going to pull up a little bit later in the day. Maiden Claimer was race number 6 yesterday, part of an entry. The entry runs 1-2, but you trained the winner, the plain one, Prove. Again, your first season at Saratoga to come up with a 2-win day. This had to just put an exclamation point on things.
That was very cool. I was excited to get him on the grass. Obviously, he was entered grass first time out, got rained off. There's nothing wrong in the dirt, so I opted to leave him in, but getting to the grass yesterday was key for him.
And a Mike Rapoli runner. Talk a little bit about working with Mike.
Mike was great. Since I set up training, he was one of my very first supporters, which was big, being, a young, setting up. He supported me pretty much off the bat, so I'm very thankful for that.
And as you say, first time to the grass, you wanted to get him on the grass the first time, so that's been the game plan all along.
Yeah, I breezed him on the grass here back in July, and it was a very impressive work. So, yeah, that was something I was trying to get him on first time out, and we just ended up taking it as an experience race and going into this one.
And it was a claimer, but as I'm looking, you brought him back to the barn, so that has to be a bonus as well. Have a nice race like that.
I was very relieved when we kept him because I've always liked this horse. He's always breathed very well, so I was happy we got to keep him as well.
And I'll just touch on your other runner yesterday, Devilish Grin, in the second stake of the day, the PG Johnson. We're going to watch this one running third in here, but you had to be happy with the performance given the way that the winner just pulled away from the bunch. The winner might turn out to be a very nice horse. Devilish Grin is the number 6 horse here, as they say, running third. What were your thoughts? And as they say, on a day where you had a couple of wins earlier, a nice stakes placing later in the day had to just add to the afternoon.
Definitely, yeah. 3 runners yesterday, 2 winners and a stakes third, and she's still a maiden. She got beaten by the 2 horses in the race that had already won. So I was very happy with her. I didn't think it was the best of trip she got. I think she could have got up for second with maybe a better trip, but the winner is a very nice horse. I don't think anyone was beating that horse no matter what trip you had. So, but very proud of her effort. You know, she's still a 2-year-old, first time going 2 turns. I thought it was a big effort.
And that was only the 3rd career start, so a nice future ahead, you would think, for her. Whenever I get people on the show, trainers, owners, whatnot, I always like to get a little background because I think up here at Saratoga, we pull new people in, and I think it's always fun for them to learn about the people behind the scenes, as it were. So talk a little bit about your background, because it was interesting as I was pulling up bio information last night. You were born overseas. Talk a little bit about how you got into the game and how you progressed to be, up here winning some races at Saratoga eventually.
So, yeah, I was born in England. I was lucky enough to grow up with horses my entire life. I think my mom and dad put me on a horse before I could even walk. So horses was something I always knew I wanted to do. I started out in the show jumping industry, very expensive industry to be in.
But a lot of people seem to start that way.
Yeah, and then you find your way. It translates well, I think, to racing. When I turned 16, I went to the British Racing School. And then from British Racing School, I went to work for Sir Henry Cecil in Newmarket. He was actually the person who sent me out to America one winter for experience. And I loved it out here. I went back to England and worked for him. He sadly passed away that June. And that was when I decided I was going to move out here. And I've been out here now 12 years, I think, coming up 12 years. So, obviously I love it over here. I go back as often as I can to England, but American racing is what I love.
What was British Racing School like?
It was very good. They teach you everything. I was lucky that I had a foundation in riding horses. I just needed to transfer the show jumping to the racing side of things. But I highly recommend, if anyone can get to the British Racing School, to go. You don't need racing experience. They'll teach you from the ground up. If you've never touched a horse, they will teach you everything you need to know. It used to be a 9-week course. I believe now it's a 12-week course. And then at the end of it, they almost guarantee you a job in racing. So they will help you find a job and get into the racing industry. And I wouldn't be where I am today without doing that course. So they started me out in the industry.
And you worked for Todd Pletcher for a while. Did you start with them right when you came over here?
No, I went out to California. I rode some races. I was convinced I wanted to be a jockey for a long time. I'm a realist. I was a pretty average jockey. I made it to 9 winners. And that's when I realized I didn't want to be an average jockey. I wanted to do something on the bigger scale. And I decided to, put all my focus in the barn and be assistant. So I was assistant in California for George Papadrodromou. And then I was ready for a change. And that was when I came over for Todd. And I worked for Todd for 7 years before setting up training.
And you had some various positions for Todd, right? You were riding in the morning also.
Yeah, up until the end, I was assistant and I still rode out in the mornings. But I was very lucky to ride some very nice horses for Todd. Life is Good was probably my most famous partner that I rode him the whole time Todd had him. Malathat when she won the Oaks and the Breeders' Cup. I rode Nest a summer here when her regular exercise rider couldn't come. So I was very lucky in the time I was there to, put my leg over some very talented horses.
You still ride in the morning?
I do, yeah. I get on when I can, what I can. Obviously, when you have a stable of 35, 36, you can't get on them all. So you got to pick and choose. But I still try and get on as often as I can.
It was interesting to read as well because with Wayne Lucas passing away recently, there was a lot of stories about how he mentored people like Todd, that incredible lineup that he had. And you kind of, in some of the interviews I read, gave credit to Todd for kind of mentoring you as you made the decision, which seems like you made well in advance of your actually moving. So talk a little bit about the decision and then getting some advice from Todd before you went off on your own.
Yeah, so it wasn't something I would have done without Todd's, support or input to doing it, because it's a big jump going from. It was a very good job working for Todd, being assistant for him. So we discussed it. I want to say we discussed it 3 years ago. It was something that, once we first had the conversation, we addressed it a couple more times. I think I was going to leave the following year. We talked again and said 1 more year. So it ended up being 2 full years from the day I said, okay, I'm going to train. But the conversation has started way before that of, I would like to train. How do I get there? And like I said, he's been great. And I think that comes from the tree of, if you want to do something, people will help you get there. You just need to make sure they know what you want to do. And they will, especially Todd and the Lucas whole tree, very good that if you tell them you want to do something, they'll help you get there if they can.
I found it fascinating that you said Todd would go through conditions books with you and kind of quiz you essentially on, gee, why are you picking this race and this race? That was intriguing to me.
That was one thing. Yeah. My last summer for him, when I was in Kentucky, obviously I wanted to do more and learn more to prepare myself. So he was very good about like, okay, well, where would you run this horse? Obviously he's the trainer, it's his call, but we were discussing it. And, I was very thankful for him giving me a little rein and helping me out in that way.
And it was also interesting. This is something I hadn't even thought of at all, but you timed your break, your move to becoming a trainer yourself. You timed it kind of the calendar because you wanted to stay in New York, and there was just a better time to. It's something I hadn't thought of, but when I read it, I thought, oh, that completely makes sense.
Yeah, it was. From when I decided New York was where I was going to set up, I thought it made sense to take advantage of, not having Todd's A string, Brad Cox's A string, Chad's A string. So the timing was big on when I was setting up, that I wanted to make sure I could hopefully, which
kicking off in November,
right? Set up and hit the ground running. I thought that was key to my career. And as much as it sucks in New York, the 5-horse fields were good for me in the wintertime because you get seen, and it's still a big enough stage in the winter without having everyone's A string there.
Talk a little bit about, because I always think this is fascinating too for people who maybe think of trainers and they go out and they train the horse and we see them in the winner's circle. Going out on your own, you're essentially opening up a small business, right? You have employees, you have to buy all the equipment and everything. And so what's that transition like?
Very expensive. I knew going in, Todd had prepared me, it's a big expense setting up, and it really is. You think you have enough, backstop to support you. And especially in New York, everything's a lot more expensive here. But I've been lucky. I've had a lot of support and a lot of people help me along the way. But it is, you're setting up a business at the end of the day. You have payroll, people are relying on you. You've got to set up everything. You buy stuff you don't even think about. Like you've got to buy all your feed buckets, water buckets, or your blankets for your horses. It adds up, and it is expensive to set up, especially here. But like I say, it's starting any business. You've got to go through that.
Yeah, and again, I think for people who are new to, even people who aren't new to the game, I don't think they really think of that. The trainer is really kind of the president of a small company back there with all the equipment. And I read an interview. Somebody said, what was something you didn't kind of expect, or what was one of the, and you said the checks.
Oh, the checks, they never end. I feel like I go through so many checkbooks all the time. I feel like
you said I used to look forward to Friday.
Yeah.
Now maybe not so much.
Yeah, Fridays at Todd's was great because I got paid. Now Fridays is the day I'm paying everybody else, but it comes with it, luckily the barn is running well. So
and speaking of that, 32 starts, 5 wins, 4 seconds, and 2/3. Did you come up with expectations? And if you did, I have to think you're there or above, particularly after yesterday.
I always like to do better than I am doing. I think that's a good trait. So I'd always like to do more. And those seconds, I'm like, I wish we won. But yeah, I'm very proud of the barn. It's a team effort. Everyone back there is working very hard all day, every day. Saratoga especially is a grueling meet, especially for the backstretch. We race 5 days a week. And when you get a day off, that's the day you do laundry and catching up on sleep, and then you go again for the rest of the week. So it's, here it's definitely harder on the help and everybody, and it's a real team effort back there.
Talk a little bit about, because you were over in England and worked for a prominent trainer over there. For people who aren't familiar with that, talk about training over there, the yards versus training on the backstretch.
So in England, 99%, I say, of people have a training center. You don't train on a racetrack, which can be more relaxing for the horses. But then when they do get to the racetrack, it's such a shock for them because they've never been around people.
Yeah.
So I think it has its pros and its cons. You know, you can, if you have a tough horse or a hard to train horse, they're more relaxed on a training center, but then they don't have the experience of training on a racetrack, which I like in America, that you get to train on the track you're running on. You know, you breeze them to the wire, so you teach them where the wire is. But yeah, it's definitely very different, and something when I first came over, I think you had to adjust with. It's a lot faster pace over here. Timed workouts isn't a thing in England. You know, you breeze, but your trainer isn't really clocking you. They're more watching the action and judging it by who's finishing up better than a time on a stopwatch. So that was one thing. Another thing that, you know, took a bit of getting used to. But I mean, you can compare them all day, but it's still horse racing at the end of the day. And, you know, when you come together at Breeders' Cup at the end of the year, I think, you know, they compare to each other. So both ways work. It's just what you prefer.
Where are you located on the backstretch?
I am barn 21, so right behind the 5/8 pole, I would say.
Okay, so you're over on this side.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. But I'm assuming you bring horses across the street for the turf works, right?
I do occasionally, yeah. I don't breeze too many on the turf. If I've already found out they like the turf, I don't really take them back on it. I keep them in their routine of breezing over here. But yeah, it's nice that in Saratoga you have the option of going over there on the grass, because a lot of tracks you don't have that option.
You remember your first trip ever to Saratoga?
My first,
trip here to Saratoga.
Yeah, I was exercise riding for Todd. It was my first year, and I remember how surreal it was feeling, especially riding through Clare Court, going over to the harness track. It was a pretty crazy feeling.
You probably walked across. I get caught every morning when I drive in here in the morning. There's like 20 of the Todd horses and the Chad Linda Rice horses, and I time it every morning. I get stuck over there. As folks, and for folks who aren't familiar, there are a lot of horses over there at the harness track. I don't think people realize.
Yeah.
But, Todd has horses, and I say Chad and Linda and other trainers as well. So, did you use Clare Court, or were you just kind of going through to go to the main track most of the time?
Just going through to the main track, yeah.
Because in the morning we get the nice sight of the horses working out behind us during the first hour we're on. That's always a lot of fun. Amelia, happy to have you on. It was great timing that I walked down. The timing was part planned, because after you won the stakes race, I thought we'll get you there, but then you won the later race. Nice placing in the later stakes race. But as I say, so far it's been a tremendous meet. And again, to be, start on your own in November and come to Saratoga and have a meet like this, congratulations. Keep it rolling, and we'll talk again.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Amelia Green, again, off to a nice start on the trainer side of things with, again, a really nice Saratoga meet as well. All right, we'll take a break. Ray and Jay are in the house. 2 more low rollers contests coming up over on the front side today and Sunday. We'll talk about that and more. Stay tuned.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
For centuries, the bond between horse and human has been forged in trust and hands-on care. Thoroughbred racing is combining that tradition with cutting-edge technology to raise our standards even higher. New investments in wearable biometrics, advanced imaging, and AI help optimize our safety programs.
That opening quarter mile was a quick one.
Every day, a commitment to improving their care. So win or lose, it's safety that runs first. To learn more, visit safetyrunsfirst.com.
Welcome back. Racing Across America on a Thursday morning. Thursday means a low rollers contest. There'll be another one on Sunday. We have been waiting for like a year and a half, and we were counting down during the meet. There were a couple of promises that just couldn't come quite to fruition with the technology, but the last couple of weeks we have been underway, and I'm getting a lot of great feedback from people who like to play the low rollers contest, and that includes me. And the two guys manning the booth, right next to me, Ray Howell, Jay Connelly on the far side. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Seth. Thanks for having us.
Happy to have you. And give me your feedback. I'm sure, like I say, from the last couple of years, people know how much I enjoy the low rollers. It's a lot of fun, kind of hones your handicapping skills, and people who have watched and know how much I like the contest the last year and a half or so have been saying, when's it coming back? When's it coming back? What was the feedback like when the booth went up?
Well, first of all, you didn't fall for a racetrack promise, did you? I mean, that's the feedback has been great. I mean, it took longer than we thought it was going to take, and as you know, when NYRA changed the tote system in 23 after this meet in the fall, they did away with the cash card. So once the cash card went away, that we lost the ability to do the contest. So you can imagine, with all the things that go on with tote, it took a while to rebuild it and find a way to do it. And we were hoping to have it done earlier this summer, but it kept getting pushed a little bit.
That first week of August, we thought we'd be up and running, but ran into a couple glitches.
Yeah. But most importantly, it's working, and we think we're on good ground to keep going forward with it.
Yeah, and it seems like, as I say, the feedback has to be fine, because I've been playing. It seems to be kind of seamless. You use one of those tablets with the contest card. I've had a great time.
Yeah, to me, it's a big win for your everyday horse player too, right? I mean, the contest disappeared for a while, and I think the feedback was like, you got to bring it back. We want it back. I know some people emailed, people were up Andy's, butt about it, because he's a face, right? So there was, a lot of complaining, when are we going to get that back? And so this is a win for your everyday player to get this back.
Which doesn't happen often, when they do away with something and they do bring it back.
Yeah.
Dollar hot dogs, maybe. That was the only other thing that.
Yeah, those are big. Those are big on Stakes weekend. There's no question about it. And just remind people of the format. I think it's, there are the Friday feeders into the Saturday contest, which is a more expensive contest, hence the low rollers name. But you get into this for a reasonable amount of money, and you keep the money that's on your card. So even if you don't win the contest, I think it's a fun format.
Yeah, Jay does a much better job explaining the contest than I do. So
it's $40 cash, right? It's an all cash contest. We pay out cash, old school style, envelope, stuff it in your pocket at the end of the day, and there's no takeout on that. So you start with your $40 cash. 10 of that goes to the prize pool. That's what everybody's trying to win. And with the other 30, you have to make 5 $2 win play show bets. You pick 5 single horses on the card, excluding the last race. That's when we pay out. And you pick your 5 single horses and bet them $2 to win play show. And if you out accumulate everybody else in the contest, you win the prize.
Yeah. And typically, what do you pay down to?
it depends on the number of entries. If you get 150 or above, we'll pay top 5. 149 and below, it's top 3.
Okay. And again, I've had fun. I've been right there. The last Sunday was not good, but the other couple I felt like I was.
We're going to help you out today, Seth. We're going to help you out a little bit.
You got some ideas.
To give people an idea of payouts too, I would say, like, generally on the low end, first place is paying out somewhere between $700 and $1,000 too.
Yeah. And again, $40 entry fee, and the money you make with your bets, you keep. It's on the card, and that's yours too. Right. So if you win the prize, that's plus the prize. If you don't win a prize, you get what's on the contest card. And there's 2 more shots at it. I think we have a shot of the booth. So talk a little bit about how people sign up.
Yeah, the booth is by the 4-Star Dave Bar. It's really been the same location for years, and generally on most race days we're there at 11. We might be a little late today, but we're there at 11, and it's a cash-only contest, so you have to bring cash, and basically just sign in, give us a contact phone number. We will give you the betting card for the day. It's pretty simple. any type of instruction you need about using the machines, we will be more than happy to show you. We'll bring you to the machine. If the two of us are available, one of us can take you to the machine. So there's no reason not to give it a shot. And, you know, if you're technology shy, that's not a good reason not to do it. And you can, as you know, you can put the leaderboard on your phone. We have a QR code you can scan with your phone. You don't need to come back to the booth. And at the end of the day, we pay out in cash after the last contest race.
And again, I'll remind people to take a shot at that QR code because that keeps you up to date throughout the day. The leaderboard, you want to know where you are and what. And it's always interesting because you don't quite know who has how many bullets left as you're getting up there. That's part of the strategy. It's a lot of fun, though. Would you agree? It hones your handicapping because I think you have to search around for value a little bit.
So Ray's going to provide what he thinks is a couple of horses that might provide value today, but I did want to talk about strategy. So I'm not a contest player. I can't play anyway, manning the booth. But watching over, I think this is like probably 10 years now of running this thing.
It's more, but
there's probably some strategic highlights that I should probably point out. So for one, I'm a pick 4, pick 5 player. And much has been made on like Twitter and X about like the CAWs and what they're doing to the game. To me, the contest has like really become this great avenue where you can use that CAW information to your advantage. As a pick 4, pick 5 guy, I'm trying to find ways to either single a CAW type horse or maybe try and find a race where I can maybe have an edge with a long shot and beat what the CAWs might be using. In order to create like those bigger payouts. In the contest, I've now got an opportunity to look at the double payouts. I can see the pick 3 payouts. I can sort of sniff maybe where the CAW money is heading. And as we all know, unfortunately, that CAW money is correct a lot of the time. And I can now use that to my advantage and play those types of horses to start accumulating money early in the contest and try and create some separation in that way. The CAWs are blocked out of the win pool for the most part. And so in the contest, when I'm betting my $2 win play show, I can capitalize a little bit in the win pool in that regard. So instead of, signing up for the contest and throwing 5 Hail Marys, hoping to hit 2 of them, that's just not a winning formula. Obviously you get a winner now and then that has done that. But to me, it's about money accumulation early in the contest. And then you can throw,
if you're using 2 cards, 2 cards will help you as well.
2 cards definitely helps. 2 cards definitely helps.
So you are allowed to purchase 2 entries into the contest.
Okay.
So
that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. You can kind of take advantage of looking at the will pays, and because of they're not really participating as strongly in the win play show pools, you can I like that. I may have to
see, we told you we were going to help you today. There's one.
And Ray, you have a couple ideas for this afternoon. Let's look at race number 4, optional claim or C condition on the grass.
Yeah, I didn't love the card overall. And we both discussed trying to find some horses that we like. But in the 4th race today, the number 7 horse, Immensitude, which is a Billy Mott's horse. And so this is the horse has had 10 starts here in North America and has been a bit of a career nibbler since been running here. So making the 3rd start in the current form cycle. And what I like about her today is moving outside a little bit because I think it's a stalking type and the pace project is kind of calling for a slow pace. So has back races that really fit here. I think the race flow will be beneficial. If we get her A game, it's a horse that should pay double digits. And for me, this is the type of contest horse that, you don't want to be chasing 20-to-1 shots. You want to find a horse that will earn you some money and has a reasonable shot to hit the board. So that's one horse that I do like in one of the earlier races today.
All right. And again, it's a win play show bet. So, you have a little bit of a price and horse runs 2nd. You can put a little money on your side. Let's take a look at the 7th race. That's the With Anticipation, mile and a 16th on the grass for the 2-year-olds. What were your thoughts there?
I lean towards the 6 horse, One More Freud, which is off the Mike Maker claim. He had won his debut on the dirt, so he's going dirt to turf. He's going short to long. He won his debut by 14 lengths, and He's had 2 works since then, and he's also a January foal, which I like in this situation. So I think he might be another horse that should pay double digits. And there are a few horses in there that I think will take money because of the high-profile connections. And maybe this horse can be overlooked a little bit, and pay somewhere.
Yeah, 6-1 on the morning line and going turf to dirt or dirt to turf, and moving out of the claimer.
Right.
I think you will get some price there.
Well, he won that race by 14 lengths, which was impressive,
Yeah.
and he was really geared down at the end. So I don't think he's going to have a problem going long. It's just a question if he turfs.
Yeah.
So
and that's why you get a little bit of a price, because there's a question. But if he answers the question at the price,
so if we see Seth picking up money today, we'll know why. He.
I am a little disappointed. Like, you didn't ask me if I was still riding in the morning. I was kind of hoping. Be assured I am.
Well, are you?
Not in the morning.
But I will ask you, how's the baseball team doing?
Baseball team had another good year. Yeah, had a couple. Let's see, we advanced the second round of sectionals. It was another good year.
Last year championship season.
Yeah, yep. Didn't repeat on that level, but
That's
had
all
a
right.
shot. We had a shot.
That's all
We
right.
lost to the eventual state champion, so
That's all right. A good season counts. Champion season goes on the resume, but good seasons are all right as well. Ray, Jay, appreciate the visit, and again, happy that Low Rollers is back in the mix.
And we will have a contest on Sunday. For some reason, a lot of the players think that we don't run a contest closing weekend, but we do. We will run Sunday, and it's a different kind of card on Sunday. It's 14 races. So
that's right. So we'll go through the 13th.
We're going to go 1 through 13. First post is 11:20. So
right.
it'll be a great day to buy 2 entries and maybe do a buyback depending on how the contest is going. You have a long haul there, so it'll be a unique situation.
Oh, I hadn't even thought. Yeah, that will be a unique situation. But again, a lot of fun. 4-star day bar area. Look for the Low Rollers booth and sign up. Believe me, I've had a number of people come up to me and say, "Hey, I heard you talking about it. I played today. It's great. It's a lot of fun." So the thumbs up have been many, and we're happy you guys are back.
Hey, thanks, Seth.
thanks for having
Keep
us
it going
on.
for the last couple of go rounds over here.
Yeah, we'll be ready.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, more Racing Across America. Stay tuned. It's been referred to as possibly the best equine-themed gift shop on the planet. Impressions of Saratoga. Impressions of Saratoga, celebrating the Saratoga and equestrian lifestyles. It's your #1 choice for Saratoga souvenirs, apparel, and gift shopping. We have gifts for the entire family, and we're pet-friendly too. Visit us online at impressionssaratoga.com or come on down. Impressions of Saratoga, 368 Broadway, downtown Saratoga.
Why just watch the races when you can be in the middle of the action? For nearly 20 years, Bonaventure Stables' share-based ownership program has made thoroughbred ownership affordable for the everyday fan. Ownerships of 5 and 10% are now available on a nice selection of horses. As a partial owner with Bonaventure Stables, you'll enjoy all the benefits afforded every owner. Visit with your horse in the private stable area. Greet the trainers and jockeys in the paddock. And when your horse wins, savor the moment in the winner's circle at Saratoga, Belmont, Aqueduct, or wherever you bring home the prize. Based in historic Saratoga Springs, Bonaventure Stables has been training winners and creating memories since 2005. Learn more, see available horses, and meet our team at bonaventurestables.com.
Welcome back to Racing Across America. I happen to be joined now by Kevin Cox, the Brooklyn Cowboy, a regular bi-weekly Thursday visit. Last visit of the season, but happy to have you join us this morning.
Went pretty fast.
It did. It always does.
Going
I'm
back
ready,
to,
though. I'm falling asleep.
Independence Day week was my first one, and in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, really. We were talking before you came on, and I saw you tweeted last night a little daily double action that was notable.
You know, when the summer started, I became obsessed with this goal of having a flatbed profit for the third straight meet. I figured if I could do that, that's a record that would never be broken by a public handicapper, because you would have to do it 4 straight times, which was like breaking Johnny Vandermeer's no-hit record. You know, you would have to do it. It's just never going to happen. So I became obsessed with it. And in the last week or so, I realized it's not going to come to bear. It's just, it's not falling my way unless something miraculous happens. And as Captain Renault was saying, Casablanca, the good Lord has outlawed miracles. But I did something yesterday that no other public handicapper is ever going to be able to do, ever. I'm here for the steeplechase race early. I'm in the paddock looking at my top choice, talking to Bill Gallo, who's head of the Steeplechase Association. I see my top choice is just being a son of a gun, getting saddled. Refuses to get saddled up. His cow kicking with his off hind, pouring with his near front. Quiet Majesty was the horse's name. And I've seen things like this before, but to see the horse do it at the same time, I'm like, he's standing on a diagonal on 2 legs. So it took about 10 minutes to get this horse tacked up. And I said to Jack Fisher, who's a Hall of Fame trainer afterwards, I said, is this normal? He said, yeah, it's been normal for quite a while. I said, all right, nothing to worry about. So I take my spot upstairs, sit in Jack's box, and he had the funny side coming up that day as well. And the horse obviously warmed up, walked out to the track, and he messes up the start, so they have to redo it.
Yeah.
He just wasn't prepared. All right, that happens a little bit. I'm starting to get the heebie-jeebies, though. Starting to freak out because I came this close to amending it with 10 minutes to post. So I got bad juju. Then all of a sudden the flag goes up, and then he turns sideways, and they drop the flag down. And there he was, just standing there staring at me. Staring right at me. I think he blinked his eyes a couple of times. And as they're coming down the straightaway on the backside, he gets farther and farther away on the screen until he totally disappeared altogether. He could still be there. He could still be there for all I know. I mean, I looked for him the next time they went around, but I didn't quite see him. And I'm like, boy, that's not a first to have a horse refuse at the start. But I said, I wish they would have scratched the horse, given the bettors a chance, because he really did turn sideways beforehand. Whatever, they're not giving that money back. You know that. There's just no way in hell. The horse could be upside down, on laying, getting tummy rubs, and they wouldn't give you money back. Yeah. My God, the usual 45 minutes in between races. I'm going to recoup. 4 horses in the funny side. Obviously, Gary entered an extra one to make the race go. And I'm on the lone speed in the race. I said, this is a good way to get back on track. I have the lone speed and a short field. Chalky, get back on track.
I can see where this story's going.
Oh man. So I'm watching. You can get the steward's view on some of the channels, and I'm watching it. And latch is open, and most of the horses run. And there's my horse just standing there, staring straight ahead. They're looking right at me. He was looking right at me. I think he smiled actually. And for about 4 seconds. Then when he came out, he decided to make a left-hand turn, probably going to look for the horse from the first race to talk about what they did to me. Somehow he finished the race, ended up beating 1 horse, if you could believe it. So now I have accomplished the best daily double ever. I had 2 horses at the best racetrack in the country, both of them stakes horses. One of them a graded stakes, and they both refused at the start. And I'm just staring at the TV. I fully expected somebody to put a lemon meringue pie straight out of the screen into my face, like with the clown thing on them. It's never going to be broken, because in order for that to be broken, that has to happen 3 straight times, 3 straight races up here. Okay, so I figured if I'm going to have a record as ignominious as it is, at least it's something I could remember more than most others.
And I will say the Jeremiah horse in the funny side ran great after that. the way that horse ran third, I think, and given the start, that was a phenomenal effort. But the first Frank Miramati, I think, commented on that horse in the first race as they came through the stretch. He said something like, "And whoever, nowhere to be seen." And I looked on the backstretch, and the outrider was already bringing them back to the barn.
I just had and then of course, if they scratch the horse, I had the eventual second and third place horses as my top two coming with the $62 exacta. So there I am, begging for a scratch at that point, anything to hang my hat on. But that was man, it made for a long day afterwards to have two of them just to laugh at you like that.
Yeah,
they have the brain the size of a walnut. The people that don't know, oh, my horse is so smart. He could do tricks. He does my taxes, whatever. Their brain is literally the size of a walnut. You should all keep that in mind when they do things like this.
That probably is a long-lasting record. People may tie. That's possible. You're right. Break it is unlikely. Let's jump in today and get some thoughts. We'll start in the opener. State bred maiden specials going 6. I went with factory setting here. It's Chad, it's Klarovich. There's a little bit of win early breeding with McKinsey, and the dam produced a debut winner. So I went kind of logical in here. What did you see in the opener?
I went 3-2-8 here. And as a matter of fact, your Chad horse is my beatable favorite, just because I think the Tomlinson is a little bit low for a couple of the other runners that she's facing. Number 3, Great Happenings is a half to is it just an offspring of the great Johanna who Jimmy Frower trained. So he actually trained the mother. And this one has a maturity advantage of all the other firsters that have yet to race, being a February foal. 363 Tomlinson figure is the third highest in the field. And the dam started a career with 12 starts, 4 wins, 5 seconds, and a third. And all of those wins came after an incident. The horse was laid up for a year. And I said to Jimmy the other day, I said, Jimmy, what the hell happened then? He said, don't you remember? She flipped in a paddock, broke a bone in her neck or back. He brought her back off a 13-month layoff to ring up 4 wins afterwards. I mean, just a great job. And it's a top 10% gate move, nicely tucked away on the work ledger. Jimmy's not known for working them fast. And he only has 1 winner in the last 5 years, first time out. So it takes a lot for me to put the horse on top. I mean, I play no favorites with him when it comes to something like that. Second choice, Amicus Curiae, means friend of the court in Latin. I had to look it up the other day. Then I saw one of the Clancy's did as well in the paper. Went for 4 times the stud fee at auction, which is something we always like to see. 396 Tomlinson figure is the highest in the field. And Levine is 3 of 7 with those fitting all of this exact criteria, with the winners coming back $31, $7, and $8. Third choice is Encantar, picks up IRAD. Showed a nice little Z pattern in the debut, losing ground from the quarter to the half and then gaining it back from that point to the finish line. Going to give this one another chance, especially after getting smacked around. So 3, 2, 8 in race 1.
Interesting. All right, race number 5 this afternoon. Optional claimer, starter allowance at 6.5. I went with Bear Claw Necklace for Safi without a whole lot of confidence, but I thought the Saratoga star last time was okay. Tactical Track Star is interesting with the buyer last time, but they had to move down in the claiming ranks to get it. So I wasn't quite sure what to make of that horse, but I'm 7, 4, 6, and 2. Where are you in the 5th?
We land similarly. I have your 7-horse third. The horse is, I wrote down here, very fragile. He's set by about 3 layoff lines. Not sure what happened in the last out. I mean, the horse is kind of bred to do well in the slop. Disappointed a little bit, even though going up at 7-1. Mixed signals there. I'll go in a reverse angle here. My second choice is Bye Bye Miles. Back at the level claimed after being kept in jail, winning down in Churchill. And the second and third place finishes from that day both came back to win. So that's proven to be a semi-key race. It wasn't 3 horses that came back to win, but 2 for now. Top choice is number 4, Tactical Track Star. Formulator has this barn at 7 of 10 with first off the claim maiden breakers at this level at 16 to 1 or less. 34 to 50 days with an ROI of $4.70. And despite the fire sale that Linda Rice has had all meet trying to win the title, she's only, I think, 4 wins behind coming into today. She keeps this one claim protected, which tells me that she's seeing bigger things for this horse down the road. So 4, 6, 7, we're pretty similar right there in race 5.
Yep, I just have them juggled up in a different order. Eighth race this afternoon, maiden specials going 9 furlongs on the grass. I went out to number 11, but I said on the handicapping show, Durand, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, Durand. The 11 going a mile and 1/8 on the grass is a little bit of a concern to me. So we'll see what kind of a trip we get. I'm 11, 4, 7, and 2. What are your thoughts on the 8th?
We both have the 2 in there. I went 3, 1, 2. Ironside is very interesting for me. You're getting Chad a 10-1 morning line. Now, a lot of times, bettors will say, well, I'm so used to him going off it. Favorite, a 2-1. If the horse is 10-1, probably isn't any good. He went with a 7-1 shot yesterday. Yeah. You know, and you don't see that too often. If you look back at his wins, it does not happen that often. But probably needed the last after the layoff. Broke slowly, both starts. I like that he's not throwing blinkers on, not trying to shake things up just yet, which tells me that he believes in the horse, that the horse is going to change things around without him changing the horse around. So he leaves blinkers off. From formulator point of view, Chad is a whopping 10 or 15 with second-time routers on the turf who hit the board less than 45 days ago at 20-1 or less, not getting Lasix, with a $3 plus ROI. And my second choice is the number 1, Johnny Rendezvous. Well-traveled sort, starts on his 6 different oval from 7 starts to date. Is damn sharp, coming in off 2 gangbuster efforts, placings. Phil Bauer always has good summers up here. And then I landed on, for my third choice, right there, a Bourbon for Toby. Very sensible selection. Taken to the lawn like a Toro lawnmower, like I have to say. And you're getting Irad, who is pretty much clinched the title as his brother's only going to ride here one more day for the rest of the meet. So 3, 1, 2 in race 8.
Yeah, Jose the other day in the post-race interview, that he was saying, I'd love to win the title, but I have to do what I have to do. Yeah, they're throwing a few $1 million down there. I get it, but boy, that for those two to be neck and neck, that was going to be a nice storyline.
They don't give you anything extra for winning the title.
No, absolutely. I get it. They're racing for, hey, that Nashville Derby, $3.5 million. I get it.
Now, is that you only get the full amount if you're a Kentucky bred?
Yeah, but I looked at the bill. We talked about it this morning. All but 2 of them are Kentucky breds.
Right.
And one of the ones that isn't is on the AE list. So the vast majority of them are.
And good luck to Jack Knowlton and Saratoga with the horse in the big race as well.
Certainly, that is, and it's $1.5 million extra Kentucky development fund. So they're still going for 2, even if they weren't a Kentucky. Right. So. Still up. Before we let you go, a couple more plays of the day coming up before we wrap up the meet.
I have a couple of 15-1 shots in the last 2 days. Not because I'm stabbing, because I'm a little bit behind in the plays of the day this year, but I use them on top of my column as well. So they have legit long shot chances. And just touching on the Jockey Club, who'd you land on there?
I haven't done it yet. I wait until
wait until you see what I did.
I wait until exactly. No, I wait until the actual final PPs come out because I like to have the numbers. I don't care about the morning line, but I like the numbers. And when I looked last night when I printed up in the trailer here, they weren't out yet.
I went with Disarmed there. I think exponentially, given he only just finished a few lengths behind the other 2 in the Whitney, he gets a 3 post position swings. You might see a nice trip off of those 2 and a 2 post position swing off of White Barrio. And this race is so tight. I think something like that is worth leaning on, but you're probably going to get 8-1 on them, I would say, because everyone's going to look at the other 3 big horses in the race. So
yeah, I think you'll get a price, no question about it. Should be a fun weekend. Lots of racing, lots of opportunities. So keep that in mind. Beautiful day today, and I think the weekend is supposed to be okay from what I've seen. Knock wood, but today is certainly a nice day. We appreciate your thoughts on the afternoon card. We appreciate the visits throughout the meet, and we'll talk again.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, again, Horse Racing Women's Conference coming up October 8th and 9th down at Lexington. We'll talk a little bit about that, and if you want to make a plan to head down, more info coming up. Stay tuned. Haven't signed up for a Capital OTB account yet? Now's the time to take advantage of the sign-up bonus. Open up a new account with $200 or more, bet $400 by the end of the month, and receive a bonus $200 into your account. Plus, you can take advantage of everything an OTB account has to offer: wagering from any device, live streaming, racing info, past performances, online promotions, and more. Sign up today and take advantage of the new account bonus. Details at capitalotb.com.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Welcome back to Racing Across America. As promised before the break, we are joined on the far end by Shonda Rotondo, and close to me, our friend Peter Thomas Fornatale. And we're going to talk a little bit of Horse Racing Women's Association Conference coming up in Lexington in October and more. Good morning.
How are you, my friend?
Very good. Happy to have you guys on board to, again, talk a little bit about the conference. Why don't we start with that? Shona, you're the founder of Grand Slam Social and a player in the Horse Racing Women's Association Conference, which is a name change, correct?
Yes, I know. It's a bit of a mouthful, but originally we started out as the Horse Racing Women's Summit, but the organization really outgrew the term summit, and so we wanted to make it official that we were going to become more of an association that had values 365 days a year. So we expanded our membership program. We have some exciting things that we're going to be announcing soon around the topic of membership and some perks that everybody can enjoy as a member. And we also have various events that have popped up throughout the year in addition to the main conference. So the main conference is what's next. It's coming up. It's October 8th and 9th in Lexington, and it's our first time going to Lexington. So we've had 3 amazing years in California, and so appreciative of First and the group there for helping us put on a great show there over the years, but really wanted to be a bit more accessible to the East Coast, and Lexington is just so logical for that.
You're telling me I have another excuse to get to Keeneland in the fall? This is wonderful.
The timing was strategic. It's perfect. It's right after fall starts opening weekend, and we have a welcome party on Wednesday the 8th, and then the conference and all the programming is on Thursday the 9th. So
we just had a graphic up there with the website, so folks can go visit that for more information, ticket information as well. I also pulled up some photos from the website of previous conferences, which look like a lot of fun and very well attended. Just explain a little bit about what the conference entails.
Yeah. So this year I'm very excited because the panels are a bit more geared towards professional development. And I think it's a great incentive for businesses in Lexington who are related to the horse racing community to pay for their employees to go. So I'll touch briefly on the panel topics because that will bring it to life a little bit. So the first panel is about building your network. Key in horse racing. Key in any business.
Key in life.
In anything. So it's all about who you know. But I think that even more so in a way in horse racing, and can sometimes be intimidating depending on how you came to enter the sport. So this is going to be a great panel to talk about how do you put yourself out there, how do you get connected with the people that are going to help your career and your goals. And then we have a second panel, which I love, called Managing Burnout. That's not the official title of the panel, but it's about managing burnout. And I think, in horse racing, we all work 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So how do you protect yourself? How do you take care of yourself? But understanding that it's not a normal situation. We're not in the real world, as I like to say. So there are a lot of tools that you can learn that can help you navigate a lifestyle like this in horse racing that we've all chosen because of our passion for the sport. But we also want to take care of ourselves. And then the third panel is about the economics of the sport. So the data, the sales, even we have people from law firms talking about how really the ecosystem of horse racing all comes together, even if you are not on a day-to-day dealing with the numbers and the money and the gambling and things like that. It's just very helpful to understand how all the parts work together for the whole of the sport, and what part you might play in that overall story for racing.
Pete, we were talking, you were in the other day as well, and we were kind of alluding to this, and you talked about participating and coming away with some good information as well.
It was a tremendous event. I was lucky enough to be there at Santa Anita last year and was super impressed by the panels and how much there was to learn and how interactive it was in terms of just being able to meet so many different people. I think this is really a premier networking event, male, female, it doesn't matter. And I just love the vibes around it too. Horse racing can be a little bit of a bubble, and it's nice to be in a place where you feel very included and welcome no matter who you are. Horse racing needs more of that. People sometimes ask, what's something I can do to help racing? And the answer is almost always introduce somebody else, like demystify it and get people in a place where they feel comfortable and like they can participate. And you guys have done you gals, I should say, have done such a great job bringing together different pillars of the sport and making it fun and entertaining. And I just think anybody who's considering getting involved in racing or already working in racing, this would be a phenomenal place to continue that journey.
Yeah, we've really tried to make the programming generic enough. I hate the word generic, but broad enough rather that it is going to be something you can take away regardless of what area of the sport you're from. If you work on the farms, if you work at the sales, if you work at a law firm, or if you work in as a horse player, whatever it may be.
If you work here, those all sounded like they were right in my wheelhouse.
Exactly. And I buried the lead, which is our keynote speaker, Molly Fletcher. And you guys should Google right now, Molly Fletcher. So they call her the female Jerry Maguire. She was a sports agent forever. And she's negotiated billions of dollars worth of, contracts. And she now is an author, and she has these amazing strategies in her books. One of them being this thing called the energy audit. And it's about planning your week so that the things that bring you energy, you couple with things that drain you. And so don't pack all the things that drain you into one day. A lot of people do that. They're like, oh, I got one day to do all these things. I'm just going to power through and do all these things. And you're drained for days after that. So there's ways to manage your week so that you don't ever feel that total burnout and that lull, because you're aware of what activities are going to bring you up and what ones are going to maybe drain you a little bit. So she's incredible. She also knows a thing or two about negotiation, which I think is a good thing to learn, especially if you're married. So we're very excited to have her as our keynote speaker.
Kind of alluded to it. Your husband, Pete Rotondo, down with Gulfstream now. And are you guys, I know for a while, you still live in town?
We do. Yeah, we're full-time in Saratoga, but we do go back and forth to Gulfstream a lot. So, which I love. I mean, don't tease me with a good time getting out of New York State in the winter. So no, he's doing great. The team at First is awesome. I was just talking to Pete before we got on. What I love about First is they're not afraid to try things. They'll just go for it. They'll be like, this is gonna bring innovation to the sport. Here's a cool idea. They'll run with it. If it doesn't work, they'll pivot. Yeah. and that's okay. But they're not afraid to try things.
And horse racing is the ocean liner that takes a long time to turn. They're slow to change, and so it's nice to see when folks are willing to take. Talk a little about, I had you on the show a few years ago as well, talking about your involvement in the social media portion of the game, which has become so important. But how did you become a racing fan or involved in the game in the first place?
Oh, gosh. Okay. So I worked in Boston at an ad agency. It was called CTP.
Sure.
And they, at the time, did everything for Breeders' Cup. PR, website, social was just starting to become a thing. And when I got there, they were like, oh, put the horse girl on the horse account. But I grew up show jumping. I didn't know. I knew Nick Zito and Todd Fletcher, and that's it. Like, I'd been to Saratoga a few times growing up as a kid. But I knew Nick Zito because it was my mom's favorite trainer. So I kind of learned as I went through CTP, and just from there, it just grew and grew. And eventually I was just so amazed by the sport, passionate about the sport, very passionate about marketing and strategy and social media, and just took those two things and founded Grand Slam Social, which is now GSS, the marketing agency. And over the years, we're almost 10 years old at this point.
I was going to say, when I had you on, it was a
while
ago. Yeah,
oh God, I've had 2 kids.
Time flies.
But no, now Caitlin Christopherson is the CEO there, and she has done amazing things with the company, expanded a lot of our work into the show jumping space and other equestrian disciplines, which has been amazing. So the team does work with Sonoma Horse Park and continues to do all the Breeders' Cup social. And it's been a great experience, and the company just seems to be continuing to grow. So love that.
It's funny. I had Amelia Green on earlier, who won a couple yesterday and is off to a great start on her training career. I asked her, how'd you get into the game? Show jump, and that show jumping thing. A lot of folks started out on that path, and then came over to this sport. Tina, I've had you on the show a number of times, and I will also mention Anthony Mormino is going to be out on Saturday morning. Pete will be doing the handicapping with me on the Handicapper Support. But I don't know whether I've ever asked you, how'd you become a fan?
For me, it started with the gambling, not the horses. The horses are very important. Have become critical, and I get it, and I love nothing more these days than being around them. But it started off with numbers on a page and wandering into an OTB and looking at the sheet on the wall and trying to figure out what the heck was going on. And then, like so many other stories along these lines, there was an early score.
Yeah.
I was working.
No, it's the worst thing that could happen.
Exactly. I was working at Simon & Schuster at the time. My buddy Frank Scatoni, who's still in racing as well, he was in the cubicle next to me. We went out to the Belmont Stakes one year, and we had done our baby version of trip handicapping, noticing this horse called Editor's Note flying late in the Preakness. And we said, well, if he was flying late in the Preakness, that means he must love 1.5 miles, right? If I'd known anything I know about handicapping now, I wouldn't have touched the horse with a 10-foot pole. But at the time, we had our little angle. We worked in book publishing. It was Editor's Note. We went all in. We scored. And then we came up to Saratoga that summer. I had an ex-girlfriend who went to Skidmore, and she let us sleep on the couch for a couple of days. And then the hook was in, and it was all over.
I've been there. I got in because I always have like brain teasers. You know, those the trains going to Philadelphia, how many people are sitting in the last car kind of thing. And to me, horse racing is, 9, 10, or these days 13 brain teasers a day. Yeah. But better if you solve it, you get paid.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, it's funny because I always think about hobbies and things like that. And golf comes to mind, like when you go and you're golfing or horseback riding. I mean, golf's more relatable to others, but you're always tweaking things. You're like, today I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this. And it's very subtle. Like you learn the basics and then you start tweaking. Yeah. Same thing with horseplay. Yeah. Like I'm looking at the form and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to throw, I love this. I'm going to throw everything out, everything. And I'm only going to look at 4 points of the form. And I'm not going to let myself go down a rabbit hole. I'm going to look at this, and this today and see if it works. Sometimes it does. And you're like, oh, I'm a genius. I figured it out. And then, it doesn't always continue. But
that's interesting you bring that up because during the year I'm down in the studio in Albany. A lot of times, given the schedule, kind of a new track comes into the mix. And I always say to people, try a new track. Try to handy because you kind of have to go back to the basics. You don't realize how much you rely on up here. Oh, I ride's on a horse or it's a pleasure training. And you just rely on things that you kind of become comfortable with. You get a new track, I think you re-hone the handicapping.
I love that idea. Those fundamentals come to the fore, and for me anyway, that's when I do my best work. Not so much the subtle thing I saw or a little trend I'm following, but just getting back to the basics of speed and pace and form and class, and building out the idea from
speed,
there.
pace, form, class. Done.
Done.
Those are the 4 points. Actually, we're and a lot of this has come to light with a lot of our women's association events that we do. We teach handicapping always, and we do a contest at the event. So we want to. It would be amazing, and we're trying to figure this out. But it would be amazing to expand that to have like a members only contest.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I mean, people join memberships just to be able to get access to a contest like that. I'm like, let's
Good
get
idea.
qualified for the NHC, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, there you go. I like that. I like that idea. And speaking of handicapping and whatnot, when you guys sat down, you said you both might have an opinion on the feature today, the With the Anticipation. These are, yesterday's the PG Johnson, the With the Anticipation to me are always fun. 2-year-olds on the turf. These days they come in lightly raced, which typically means they come in with some pretty good records. I put Capital Partner on top, Chad and Klarovich. The Lady Eli offspring to me is very intriguing given the light number, but that was an off-the-turf event. So I have that one in the mixed final score, one more Freud. I think it's an intriguing event. Pete, why don't you start off? What are your thoughts?
Taking the gloves off for this opinion. I really like this Owen Hardy runner. You mentioned about the figures. The figures generally in these 2-year-old races, they mean less, in part because they're so progressive. They get so much better from start to start. They can just, the improvement, it's very hard to quantify in a number like you can with a $50,000 older claimer on the turf, say. So the gloves off number is a little light at 56, but I'm not too worried about it. And the two things I really like, 3 next out winners to come out of that race at Ellis. And just generally speaking, I was thinking there was a chance that the market might underrate the Ellis form, not realizing how much the year-round Kentucky racing circuit has improved. All those KTDF dollars. These are some good horses this horse was running against, and this is a terrific pedigree. There's a lot of black type in this pedigree. I think this horse looks terrific. I respect your idea. I respect Shona's idea that she'll get to. I was going to maybe play an exacta with all of our horses, but gloves off the one I'm going to be keying around.
Yeah, I think you're right. You get value, and I think you're also right. And for folks who aren't keyed in yet, don't ignore the Ellis. The last 3 years, maybe 5 years, that Ellis meet has become very important, certainly. Shona, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, similar to what you said. And with the theme of women, I like Cherie's horse here. You have Lady Eli as the mama champion bloodline there into Mischief Sire. And you just never know. I mean, the horse ran well and was supposed to be on the turf.
Yeah.
So he's supposed to run better on turf. And now stretching out a little bit, I think that's going to be my top pick. But then Pete and I were chatting before about gloves off, and I took a look and trusting his take on Ellis, and my father-in-law as well. We call him Bippy. He gave me this horse as well. So I'm going 5-7 exacta.
Good company there with Senior. All right.
Maybe we'll see how the prices are, but I've been good company.
Father-in-law, for folks who don't remember, what was the name of the show that those guys
Horse
were?
Players.
Horse Players.
It's like a horse players, mini horse players.
Is that still?
reunion.
Can people stream it?
Yeah, you can find that. You can find that.
Oh yeah.
It was fun. It's worth pulling up, and an idea that maybe deserves a relook as well. I think
they still get recognized in the backyard. I mean, I love the show. Yeah. I can't believe they didn't. And honestly, it should have had another season, but the network folded. So it was like that, I think Esquire Network or something that had that moment, and they had like Pee Wee football or some weird shows. But yeah, it's historic in our household. So
sure. Well,
you see him.
I'll tell you that question you asked us about how did you get into it. I asked that of horse players, and I've interviewed as many horse players as you. That's how many I've interviewed, a whole lot. And so many of them, especially in that window, especially vis-a-vis contest, said, I got into this because I saw this on TV. So I believe firmly that it had a big impact.
Yeah, and then there was the funky show, too, and I can't remember what network that was on. Remember they were out in Southern California, and there was a whole group of people. It was almost like a Big Brother thing or something, where they were vying to own a racehorse at the end. And that was kind of a funny show. I got to look that up, because I wrote about it on Equidaily, so the page is still up there.
I remember the making the poor people shovel out the That's my memory.
I'm not sure.
Recall this
I'm not sure that one I'm craving as much as the horse players one. That one was
back. Team Rotondo's grown. Yeah, you get me in the mix now. So
a little funky.
Let's go.
Pete, before we go, we'll let you talk a little bit, have a graphic up with the website info in the Money Media. Just give us a little info on what people might find coming up this weekend in particular.
Appreciate that very much. We've got a ton of great free horse racing content, handicapping content. We're going to be covering Kentucky Downs every day. You can find videos on our In the Money Media YouTube channel, Jonathan Kinchin and myself. We've got write-ups as well. We'll have Saratoga covered, Woodbine, Monmouth, soup to nuts, really. Loads of free handicapping info folks should check out daily over at inthemoneypodcast.com. And you can subscribe to the In the Money Players podcast wherever you get your pods if you want even more of my act.
Speaking of Woodbine, are you gonna be up there for Woodbine Mile weekend?
I'm hoping to.
Okay,
I haven't nailed it
We've
down
seen you
yet.
up there before, other visits you made.
I love it. And that's a wonderful time of the year up there as well. My wise guy move, and maybe you can take advantage of this while you're up there. It always coincides that weekend with the Toronto International Film Festival.
Oh, I know you mentioned that
you
before.
You can sneak in some movies, and
I feel your resolve to not travel as much weakening as we speak. You're like, oh no.
I was saying off air. Now I've booked 3 trips as we're speaking, but it's worth it. That one's really worth it. It's great fun.
I'm a film school graduate, Syracuse Newhouse School.
Oh,
Awesome. Owned a little television
it.
production company in town for years. And if you see the movie Ironweed, the scene.
Wait, you're in Ironweed?
The scene where Meryl Streep comes out of the bar and proceeds to vomit on the sidewalk. The big window behind her, the junk wagon's going down the street. Jack Nicholson. It was a crazy fluky thing.
Okay.
That I wound up to be Nicholson's double for like one day, but I'm the reflection in the window.
My mind is blown.
Behind Meryl's, and Mike McAdam in the Gazette wrote a nice little article about it last year, so you can look.
I'm going to dig that up for sure. Did you get to meet Kennedy?
No. Oh, well, I say no. I'd met him before,
but not on that.
Yeah, not really,
I saw him at Saratoga years ago. Great author.
Yeah, no, I met him in another venue. But when I was working, Jack Nicholson was sitting in like a director's chair, and there was a little thing hanging off in a drink container there that said medicine. So,
I hope you told him go Knicks.
But Shonda, just before we go again, we'll put up the graphic with the website. Give us a little push on the conference as well.
Yes, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to talk about this. I will note that we are almost sold out.
Okay.
So never before have we been almost sold out in August. I think the fact that it's in Lexington is bringing a fresh new crowd, and we only have 40 tickets left. So do not wait. There is early bird pricing through September 7th. I don't even know if we'll make it that far. But a couple things to know. You go to horseracingwomen.com. There will be a bunch of content on the homepage to drive you to the ticket sales. And we really just hope to see you there. It's going to be a great event. It's very uplifting. It's very inspiring. The women are amazing. The content's amazing. And it's just a great opportunity to invest in yourself. And I will encourage employers to send their female employees as well. It's a great investment in your community and the women that work for a lot of the organizations that fuel the sport. So very excited about this year and hope to see some new faces.
And again, being tied into Keeneland season, you pull up a little Keeneland. I will vouch for I made a nice trip a few years ago where on the way south, I hit Oaklawn and Fairgrounds. I tout both of those. Oaklawn's very Saratoga, the whole city, very Saratoga.
Racing focused.
Cool. And then I went down and spent time in Florida. I got to get back to, I haven't been to Tampa in so long. I got to
fun place.
But on the way back, Keeneland, and Keeneland's a great track for people I've met. That also, a very Saratoga kind of feel with the crowd and, young, old men, women. So you can tie that into the
make it a trip for sure.
All right. Appreciate the visit. We'll talk again.
Thank you so much.
All right. We'll wrap it up for Racing Across America on this Thursday. Again, it's a gorgeous Thursday heading into a great afternoon and hopefully a really nice weekend, certainly a nice weekend of racing ahead. Not just here, but you have the Nashville Derby. You have the Pacific Classic up here, the Jockey Club Gold Cup on Sunday. We talked with Jay and Ray. You got low rollers coming up today and Sunday. It should be fun as we wrap things up. A little bittersweet, but I have to say, I'm kind of ready for a little bit of a break. And we'll be back tomorrow for Racing Across America and Handicappers Report. And I'm just pulling out my sheet because over the next few days, again, we have early post times. Tomorrow we'll be on at a regular time. The early post time is 12:35 tomorrow, but we'll start at 9. Saturday post time is 12:05, so Handicappers Report will be at 8:30. Sunday, it's an 11:20 post time. We'll start at 8 on Sunday and 12:05 on Labor Day. So we'll start at 8:30. But tomorrow, it's the regular time for the Handicapper Support, 9 a.m., Racing Across America at 10. We'll see you then.
You've been watching Racing Across America. Racing Across America has been brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. When you can't make it to the track, make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.